Welcome to the Explainer. Let's dive right into a high-end masterclass on unlocking advanced English grammar to instantly elevate your professional writing. I want you to imagine a scenario. You've spent weeks gathering data, you sit down and you write a crucial high-stakes email to your CEO. Or, maybe you're finally submitting your master's thesis. But when you read it back, you get that horrible, sinking feeling in your stomach. Despite all your hard work, the writing just sounds a little too conversational. It reads more like a casual text message to a friend rather than a commanding professional document. Well, if you've ever struggled to bridge that gap between everyday speaking and truly authoritative writing, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking a highly specific, highly effective grammatical tool that is going to solve this exact problem. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with elevating your formal English, move into the four-step transformation, see core verbs in action, tackle advanced exam applications, and wrap up with crucial rules and exceptions. Section 1. Elevating your formal English. Let's start with the root of the problem, which is sounding too informal by focusing on the completely wrong subject in your sentences. Imagine you're writing a critical public relations statement for a major sports league that just hit a crisis. You have two options for your opening line. First, the active voice. They decided to postpone the match. As a reader, your brain instantly zeroes in on they. Who are they? Was it the referees? The team owners? Why did they decide this? It just invites unwanted questions. Now listen to the passive reporting structure. They decided that the match should be postponed. Notice that psychological shift? Suddenly, the match itself is the absolute star of the show. The people who made the decision fade safely into the background. The spotlight is directly on the action, which is exactly what we want in formal, authoritative writing. You're literally controlling the narrative just by shifting the grammatical focus. And this perfectly illustrates why we need this structure. It is the absolute gold standard across multiple professional disciplines, where the action matters way more than the actor. Think about a lawyer drafting an airtight legal contract. The focus has to be on the obligations being met, not the individuals typing the document. Or picture a journalist breaking a major news story about a new government policy. The policy is the headline, not the committee meeting. Consider a student submitting a rigorous PhD thesis, or an executive writing up the final quarterly business report for the shareholders. In every single one of these arenas, utilizing this passive reporting structure instantly signals to your reader that you are objective, professional, and entirely focused on the facts at hand. Moving right along to Section 2, the four-step transformation. Now that we know the why, let's look at the how with a foolproof mechanism to build these sentences from scratch. It's an incredibly straightforward four-step logical formula, almost like mathematical code. Step 1 is your foundation. Accurately identify the object of your active sentence. Step 2 requires a simple shift. Move that object right after the word that. Step 3 is where the magic really happens. Inject the crucial phrase should be. And finally, Step 4 locks it all together. Change your main verb into its past participle form. Think of this as a recipe. If you follow these 4 steps in order, you absolutely cannot get it wrong. Let's walk through it together. Take our active sentence. He agreed to sell the house. We start with Step 1. What's the object being acted upon? Right, it's the house. Now for Step 2, we drop in the word that and move our object right after it, giving us he agreed that the house. Then comes Step 3, our formal injection. We add should be. And finally, Step 4, our base verb sell transforms into the past participle sold, leaving us with a beautifully formal end product. He agreed that the house should be sold. See how logically that flows? We took a sentence that sounded like a casual chat between neighbors and turned it into a line that literally belongs in a real estate contract. Section 3, core verbs in action. Okay, here's the catch. You can't just use this structure with any random word in the English language. You must use specific reporting and decision verbs. We're talking about words that carry weight and authority, words like agree, determine, order, propose, or insist. Think of these as your trigger words. They're the linguistic equivalent of a judge's gavel hitting the desk. If you're writing a sentence and you find yourself using one of these commanding verbs, an alarm bell should immediately go off in your head. That alarm is telling you that the passive reporting structure is available, waiting in the wings, ready to upgrade your sentence from average to exceptional. Now, let's map out this essential transformation from the base verb to the past participle, which, if you remember, is Step 4 of our formula. Getting this right is completely non-negotiable. The past participle acts like the final puzzle piece that locks the entire grammar structure securely into place. Whether you're dealing with an irregular verb like sell turning into sold, or navigating a standard regular verb like construct neatly turning into constructed, mastering these past participles is vital. Without that final step, the formal illusion just shatters. You have to commit to the formal ending to make the sentence resonate with authority. Let's look at a specific example using the trigger verb arrange to see how profoundly it alters the tone. She arranged to decorate the hall sounds, well, incredibly casual. It paints a picture of a low-effort scenario. Maybe she's just going to show up early with a single balloon and some tape. But apply our formula. She arranged that the hall should be decorated. Suddenly, the tone is entirely different. This sounds like she's managing a massive event, coordinating with a high-end catering team, and overseeing preparations for a VIP gala. The grammar alone changes the reader's perception of her level of authority. Let's look at another highly charged scenario using the word demand. Imagine a high-stakes union negotiation. There's an angry crowd outside holding signs, tensions are high. If you write, the workers demanded to increase wages, you're focusing entirely on the actors, the angry crowd. But in a formal union report or a corporate memo sitting on an executive's desk, you want to strip away the emotion and focus on the brass tacks. The workers demanded that wages should be increased. This perfectly shifts the focus away from the chaotic protest and hones in strictly on the critical financial issue at hand, the wages themselves. It's a total masterclass in objective documentation. Section 4. Advanced Exam Applications. It's time to treat you like the advanced learners you are. When you're sitting in a Cambridge proficiency exam or drafting a high-level academic paper, your sentences require a bit more architectural support. Notice how seamlessly our four-step formula handles longer, more complex subjects like the historic building. The object you're moving doesn't have to be a simple single word like wages or house. It can be a whole descriptive phrase acting as a massive piece of scaffolding. And the formula doesn't buckle under the weight. It holds strong. You still just take that entire object, the historic building, move it right after that, add your should be, and change renovate to renovated. The mechanics remain beautifully consistent no matter how heavy the vocabulary gets. All right, let's put you to the test. I want you to mentally apply the 4 steps we just learned to transform this sentence. Listen carefully. They decided to cancel the meeting. Take a second. First, identify your object. Got it? Now, move that object into position. Add your crucial 2-word phrase. And finally, change your base verb into a past participle. Do you have the final sentence in your head? Let's see. If you came up with, they decided that the meeting should be canceled, you are absolutely spot on. Let's break down exactly why that works. You successfully identified the object, which is the meeting. You added the connector that, injected our formal phrase should be, and brilliantly transformed cancel into the past participle canceled. By doing so, you took a subjective conversational action and turned it into an objective, undeniable fact. Let's try one more just to really cement this new skill into your brain. Here's a very common type of question you might see on an advanced English exam. The board determined to revise the policy. Walk it through the exact same 4 steps. Think about who is doing the acting and what is being acted upon. Where does the spotlight need to go? Apply the formula right now. Beautifully done. The board determined that the policy should be revised. You shifted the focus entirely away from the subjective board and elevated the objective policy to the main stage. This is exactly what an examiner, a university professor, or a demanding corporate executive wants to read. It sounds clean, it sounds impartial, and it sounds incredibly intelligent. Finally, Section 5, Crucial Rules and Exceptions. For those of you who stuck around, we're going to look under the hood at a major exception in modern usage. This is the ultimate pro tip. In modern American English, we often use something called the mandative subjunctive. I know, mandative subjunctive sounds like a terrifying medical condition, but I promise you it's actually just a brilliant shortcut. It's a grammatical trick that modern business writers absolutely love to use to make their sentences even more concise and punchy. It involves taking our perfect 4-step formula and deliberately omitting the word should entirely, while magically maintaining the exact same formal meaning. Look at the evolution here. Our formal, traditional standard says, they decided that the project should be completed. It's flawless. But in a fast-paced, modern corporate boardroom, it transforms. Listen to this modern version. They decided that the project be completed. We literally just deleted the word should. It might sound a tiny bit jarring to your ear at first if you aren't used to it, but it is 100% grammatically correct. In fact, it's used constantly in American corporate, legal, and political writing to sound even more definitive and urgent. But remember, the passive reporting structure is a very exclusive club. You can't just slap a VIP pass onto an everyday emotional verb like want or like and expect it to work. Take a sentence like, he wanted that a car should be bought. It just sounds completely broken, right? Your ear naturally rejects it. You can't force this elegant, formal structure onto casual, everyday desires. You must strictly stick to your trigger words, verbs of authority like decide, arrange, demand, recommend, and so on. If you remember absolutely nothing else from this explainer, I want you to burn this core philosophy into your mind. This structure emphasizes the action to be performed rather than the person performing it. It is a conscious, deliberate choice as a writer to manipulate the spotlight in your sentence, dimming the lights on the people involved to fiercely highlight the actions, policies, and facts that truly matter. So, the next time you sit down to type out a formal proposal, a legal memo, or a rigorous academic paper, ask yourself, who is really the star of your sentence? Are you accidentally giving away your power by focusing on the wrong subject? Master these trigger verbs, apply the 4 foolproof steps, and watch how manipulating the grammatical spotlight instantly commands respect from your reader. The tools are in your hands now. What action will you spotlight today?